Hey everyone, it's Lori, and I am here today with my August reading wrap up. In the month of August, I read 13 books. 3 were audiobooks, 1 was a physical book, and 9 were ebooks. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my classics and then move into all of the other books that I read this month. So, to get started, I have been finishing off the American literature books that I assigned to my girls last year for school. I'm behind schedule. Nothing's really new here. So, the one physical book I read was A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. This is one that I did read in high school in AP English, I believe. So it's been a long time because I'm old now. But I really enjoyed this play. It was very quick to get through. One of those very classic works. It is about a family in Chicago. And it was first produced in 1959, so that kind of gives you the era that it is dealing with. And so there's the fact that they're just like a normal family, but there's also gender and racial issues involved in the play. So I do recommend this one. The other book for American literature that I had my girls read that I finished up is Me Ultima by Rodolfo Anya. This is another one that I read in high school. This was not assigned to me. I think my brother read this in college in his freshman seminar, and he brought his books home, so I read them because that's the type of person I am. So I actually listened to an audio book version of this time. I really appreciated the audiobook version because then I actually get the correct pronunciation of all of the Spanish words, which to the best of my knowledge are mainly curse words. Okay, maybe not mainly, but there's quite a few clearly cursing Spanish words in here that I don't actually know what they mean, but I know what they mean, if that makes sense. So this one is about a young boy and his struggles in his family and with his faith. His mother is Catholic, and his dad is, nominally Catholic, and his grandma that comes to live with him practices herbal, can't remember the right word that they use, but herbal remedies and so forth. So she's accused of being a witch quite a few times in this. So there's a lot of spiritual stuff going on in here, and the characters in a lot of turmoil spiritually, and I felt that pretty intensely these days. I've been struggling a lot in that department as well. So it was a very good book for me to listen to. The other 3 audiobooks that I listened to are actually 3 books in a series, and it's one of my favorite series of all times. So I do have the physical book here to show you, and that is Dragon Song and Dragon Singer and Dragon Drums, all by Anne McCaffrey. These are childhood favorites. I read most of the Pern books when I was a kid to teenager, and these are the ones that just stuck with me the most, probably because they revolve around the Harper Hall and a lot about music in them, and there's a strong female protagonist in Dragon Singer and Dragon Song, and she's still involved in Dragon Drums, but the protagonist of that is a younger boy. So really, really good books. I think they were on sale at Audible for $5 a piece. And since I have probably read each of these books over 100 times in my lifetime, I figured I might as well have audiobook copies. And it was kind of fun because being a fantasy series with, dragons and a different world and everything, the way I pronounced the names of characters in my head was not the same as the way they were pronounced in the audiobook, which makes sense, and I'm going to assume the audiobook is closer too correct than mine. Like, for instance, the young boy who's the protagonist in Dragon Drums is, I think they say it in the audiobook, Pimer, and I always pronounced it Pimor in my head. I mean, it's just really silly differences. But so I enjoyed listening to audiobook versions of these, and I will probably listen to them again sometime. In fact, I've come pretty close to listening to them again this month, just because I need some comfort books right now. Okay, now I'm going to go into my romance ebooks because that's all I've been reading recently. The first one I read this month was Hot Dog Girl by Jennifer Duggan. And this one was very cute. It was a YA romance novel, and the main character is working at this sort of Renaissance festival-esque amusement park in her small town, and she gets assigned the job of hot dog girl, wearing the hot dog costume and wandering around the concessions area again, which she had been the year before, and she has a crush on this guy, and so she's trying to see if she can make things work there. She wants to be the best summer ever, and then everything starts to go wrong, from the amusement park owner kind of telling everybody that this was their last season, to difficulties with the boy she has a crush on has a girlfriend, so she pretends to also have a girlfriend in order to get closer to him, and hilarity ensues. So it's a very cute story. Lots of just kind of adorableness in it, let's be honest. And excuse me. Kind of a almost love triangle issue going on, so I found it quite enjoyable. It was a very quick read. I think I read it in a day, which is like the theme of romance books for me. So Hot Dog Girls was cute. Hot Dog Girl was cute. I also I don't even know what I did. I also read 2 books by Sally Thorne. Previously, I think I read 99% Mine. Is that right? No. Oh, The Hating Game. Okay. A while back, I read The Hating Game, and I really enjoyed that one, so I just put myself on the holds list for 2 of her other books. I don't know if maybe that's all of her books. I'm not sure. So I read 99% Mine, and this one had its very cute moments, and then it had just some stuff I didn't really love, and it's not anything like wrong with the book. I just didn't connect with the character the way I connected with the characters in like The Hating Game. So we've got a female protagonist who is living in her grandma's house, and she's just kind of a bit of a disaster. She has a twin brother, and they've inherited this house together, so a family friend is going to remodel it for them, and she is kind of in love with the family friend, and he at least used to be in love with her, but he's also the best friend of her twin brother, so that makes everything more complicated. So I mean, it was cute. It had its moments, and it also had its moments where I just didn't really like any of the characters that much. It wasn't all the time. Sometimes I was okay with them, but I just didn't connect with the characters as much as I had the hating game. Um, so 99% mine, it was good, but not as good as a lot of the other books I've read recently. And then the other Sally Thorne book I read was Second First Impressions. And this one I liked better. Um, I think it was pretty much the female protagonist I just didn't like as much in 99% Mine. But the protagonist in this one is working in kind of a maybe assisted living slash retirement community, and she's basically running the whole thing while her boss is on a cruise. So she's been there for a long time. She likes the elderly people. She doesn't hang out much with people her own age. And then she has this chance encounter at a gas station with this man, and she thinks he's gorgeous, and then he sticks his foot in his mouth. And makes a very bad first impression. And then it turns out that he is the son of the owner, the newish owner of the retirement community. So he ends up living at the retirement community for a little while, and interest between them is sparked. So their second first impression, he's trying to get her to see him in a different light than she originally did. And at the same time, she has this friend. It's kind of a coworker who becomes her friend, who's trying to set her up and get her ready to get out there and get dating. So there's that backdrop of her trying to get ready to date and so forth. So there's like the makeover and everything. So I thought that one was a lot cuter than 99% Mine, I'll be honest. But Sally Thorne, I like her books so far, but I feel like they're a lot more hit and miss than some of the other ones that I have read. Like, for instance, another one I read was Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez, and I read The Friend Zone and Happily Ever After playlist by her as well. Oh yeah. So, um, Life's Too Short, the main character, the female character, is a YouTuber whose sister had a baby and then just abandoned the baby with her. So she's struggling with parenting this child she wasn't expecting, and she's actually like a travel YouTuber, so she can't really do her job as well. Um, and she's having a hard time with all this, and her next door neighbor was one of the characters in Happily Ever After playlist. He went on a date with the main character in that book that didn't end well, so this is kind of his story, in a sense. But he's the next door neighbor, and he can't sleep, so he comes over to be like, can't you shut that kid up? And he ends up helping her, and they become friends. But there's difficulty there because she doesn't want to be in any sort of relationship, because she's afraid she's going to die young, because her mother died young, one of her sisters died young, and she has like a good chance of having ALS. And she's feeling some symptoms of it. So she's thinking she may have a year or two left. So they're falling for each other, but she doesn't want to fall for anyone because she's convinced she's going to die young. So that's kind of the story of Life's Too Short, and their struggles with kind of wanting to be in a relationship and how to make that work with her health issues. So I really liked this one. I think I like Abby Jimenez's books more consistently. She has very interesting characters, and they all have some sort of, I hate to say like dark past, but like something in their lives that makes them have challenges in their relationships. So, I really enjoyed Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. Another YA romance that I read was called You Have a Match by Emma Lord. I feel like I may have read something by Emma Lord before, but I can't remember what. So, this is the story of a high school age girl. I think she's a junior, and she has a couple of best friends. One is male and a senior, and the other one I think is also a junior and female. So they've been like friends for a very long time, but the male friend is adopted, and so he decides to talk them all into taking a like DNA test, like I don't know, 23andMe or whatever, one of those, to see if he can find any biological family. So they go along with it and they do it, and the main character, she ends up getting a match. Now, the male friend who was hoping to find family doesn't find anyone, but she finds out that she has a full sister. So her parents have never told her that she has a full sister. And so this is shocking to her. So get her full sister actually contacts her, and they start talking a little bit, and they want to get to know each other. So she ends up going off to the summer camp where her full sister is kind of working for the summer. She's there as a camper, so her sister is there as an employee. And so they're trying to get to know each other and trying to figure out the story of what happened with their biological parents, because the sister knew she was adopted, but it turns out that as they kind of snoop a little bit, it turns out that their parents used to be very close friends, the biological parents and the adopted parents, but something happened. So they're trying to work this all out, and at the same time, our main character has developed feelings for her male friend who is also working at this camp. But then there's another character, male character, that's kind of catching her attention, who is apparently her male friend and her full sister actually already knew each other from camp. So trying to deal with one of her best friends already having camp friends makes things complicated too. So they're dealing with their feelings for each other, and she's dealing with this news that she has a sister, and they're trying to figure out what happened with their parents. So I thought this was a fun one. Got a little convoluted at times because of kind of the plot line, but yeah, I thought it was resolved in a pretty good way. So I enjoyed the ending of this one in particular. And the last romance book I have to talk about is called Better Together by Christine Riccio, Riccio. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is like the Parent Trap. So, and that's basically what it said. And I kind of felt like it was like the Parent Trap meets Freaky Friday. So basically, we've got two characters. One is a ballerina who has had a back injury and is just finding out she's never going to be able to go back to dancing as a profession again. And the other is trying to be a stand-up comic, and she totally chokes on stage. She ends up having to move back in with her dad. And so both of these women end up going to Colorado. So we got New York and LA coming to Colorado for a retreat to help them figure out what to do with their lives. So they meet one of them knows that she has a sister, and the other one has been told that her sister was actually just an imaginary friend that she created to help her when her parents divorced. So she's been in therapy for most of her life dealing with the fact that she had this imaginary friend that was actually her sister. So very messed up, but only one of them knows they have a sister. They look very similar. So they decide at the end of this week-long retreat to parent trap their parents. They figure it's not going to be very long before they figure it out because they're not identical, but they cut their hair and dye it to kind of look more like each other, and they go to their respective homes. Before they do, they find this weird package in a cabin in the woods, and some magic happens, and so when they get to their respective destinations, they look like each other. So they actually get to parent trap their parents in a sense, and obviously this is a little more like Freaky Friday with the fortune cookie or whatever. So they go back and they get to know the opposite parent that they haven't seen in a very long time, and then they all have to come back together in the end. So it's hilarious and weird, and I do recommend it. And then I have 2 nonfiction books. The first one was an ebook, and that was The Body is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor. And this is a book about the body and dealing with loving your body in good, healthy ways of dealing with the negativity that we experience in the world because of our bodies. And this one's really challenging and kind of hard to like boil down into a short thing, but if you are somebody who has struggled with not loving your body, this is an excellent book to read. And the last one is actually another audiobook, so I think my count was off and it was 8 ebooks and 5 audiobooks, and that is The Church's Best Kept Secret by Mark Shea. And this is a book about social justice in the church. Again, I've been really struggling with faith stuff right now, so I was just trying to find something that I could read or listen to that wouldn't be wounding the way a lot of things are right now. So I thought this was pretty good. Not like earth-shattering or anything. If you don't know much about the social justice side of the Catholic Church, I think it's a great one to listen to. It's pretty short. So I don't know. It was written during the pandemic, so it does go into that a little bit. But I guess that is it for the books I read in August. I hope you enjoyed hearing about them. Feel free to comment below if you have any comments or questions for me or book suggestions. I always love those. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.